No, that's not cool, bro. Hey, welcome to Black Iron. Oh, wait, no. Hey, it's us again. Welcome back to the Black Book, and we're going to talk about your 8 weeks of muscle-up progressions.
I'm not going to say.
I'm Matt Aiken.
This is Krissy Mae Cagney.
I'm the demo girl.
And that's Drew Caminero.
Candero, Doctor.
Cavanara.
We don't know what his name is. He just showed up here one day and never left.
All right. So we're going to start us off with some ground-based core work, and it all begins with the dead bug. So we're going to have Krissy lay down on the ground.
Face up or face down?
Face up.
It's a serious
Face up.
question.
Face up. Yeah, way to make it up. Now, the dead bug is the regressed version of that hollow body positioning. We're gonna have Krissy lift both legs, squeezing together, pointing straight up through her toes, and then she's gonna reach straight up to the sky. Now, it's important that as she lifts her shoulder blades off the ground, she's pressing that low back firmly into the floor, and she's not reaching towards each other, she's pushing both as high up as she can go. Now this isometric contraction, just pushing into the floor, is to simulate the earlier version of the hollow body. Then, as she progresses through, you can relax for a second. And then the next step would be to move through an ipsilateral movement, ipsilateral movement. Yep. Ipsilateral. God,
Ipsilateral.
Ipsilateral movement, meaning the same arm and same leg will be reaching out, almost simulating more of that hollow body, and then transitioning to the other leg as you return back to the center. And then we'll go over a contralateral movement, meaning opposites. So she'll come back up into that dead bug, pressing that low back firmly into the floor, right? She's reaching straight up, and then we'll have her move in the ipsilateral fashion, both her right arm, right leg down to the hollow body, come back to the middle, then left arm, left leg, back to the middle, that's that ipsilateral, and then contralateral, she did another ipsilateral for you because she's that talented. Contralateral, she's gonna move this right leg and left arm. Come back, then right arm, left leg, push, 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 and relax. Okay. So now if you're having trouble as you move into those ipsilateral, contralateral movements of maintaining that low back firmly pressed into the floor, what we're gonna look for is now to bend this knee, keep the one straight, you're just gonna bend right here, and then kind of just move slightly out, keeping her foot close to the floor, making sure that she's still got that good connection, and then she'll move back and return to an extended position. Then she'll bend the knee on the other side, move out, maintaining that nice, there we go, there she is, and then come back and extend. So at any point you can always regress what our beginning is, and you can relax. You can always regress the beginning phase down a little bit more as we're adding in an element of movement, so as to keep your low back firmly pressed on the floor, simulating that hollow body position. If you're having trouble with any of that, even just the straight leg dead bug, we can move into a bent knee version, where she's tucked in, feet are tucked close to her butt, she's still pulling firm into the floor, low back rounded into the ground, reaching up as hard as she can through those shoulder blades. You're gonna feel the same contraction through your core depending on where you are.
We're going to challenge this globally flexed position a little bit more. So continuing from the dead bug, we're now going to move to a hollow body hold. So Krissy, as we cue to the dead bug, is going to pull her belly button towards her spine. She's going to reach hard towards her toes, which are flexed away from her face, shoulder blades off the ground. And relax. To challenge that a little bit more, I can have Krissy return to that hollow body hold. Go ahead. And then take her hands above her head again, provided that she's able to maintain that contact with lower back on the floor. Good, and relaxed. Okay. So once we have a good mastery of the hollow body hold, we're then now try and challenge that by introducing the hollow rock. Okay. So again, Krissy, bridge up to a hollow body position. Okay, and then head to rock. Good. And relax. So, hollow hold, very good. Hollow rock, things kind of break down a little bit. That rock becomes a little bit segmented, which means we're losing that globally flexed position in the low back. So if that becomes apparent, what we can do now is move to, as we do the dead bug, a bent knee hollow body position. So she's gonna keep her knees here, perpendicularity is your friend. We're gonna start first with her hands at her side, reaching towards her toes, and then see if this allows her to find a better rocking position. Excellent. And now, okay, that looks good. Go ahead and take your hands above your head and see if you can rock a little better. Beautiful. Good. And relax. So, as her rocking begins to improve in that bent knee position, we can then challenge that further by moving to essentially a straddle or tuck position where she extends one leg as we did with the ipsilateral dead bug. Hands by your side. Attempt to rock.
Too high.
Too high. And then hands above the head. Good, and relax. Okay, so the hollow hold, the hollow rock, and different strategies for remediating that movement. So I'm now going to take Krissy from her back to her belly, which in the tactical configuration for Call of Duty would be what, R2? Go prone?
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. So you press the R2 button. So now we're going to focus on a globally extended position. So I'm going to have Krissy bring her feet together as best as she can, feet on the floor. I'm going to have her reach her hands ahead. And now I'm going to cue her to tighten again her belly, draw her belly button to the spine. So again, I'm looking for there to be some separation between her and the floor. Okay? So now, as if she were faster than a speeding bullet, I'm going to have her bridge up as if she were Superman. Go ahead and bridge up. Good. Hold that position for me. Beautiful. And relax. Okay? So that Superman, also known as our arch hold position. And while it's a little bit more difficult, we're going to see if Krissy can rock back and forth in this arch position.
This would be a first.
Let's give it a shot. Nicely done, nicely done. And relax. Good. So, hollow hold, global flex position. You can challenge by introducing rocking. Arch position.
What?
Arch position, we're working on a globally extended position, which we can challenge by first having someone try and maintain an isometric hold, and then challenge further by introducing rocking. Moving together, we're going to try and pair together now the hollow hold and the arch hold by combining them in a movement known as log roll. So I'm going to have Krissy bridge up into a hollow hold. Good. And she's going to roll first to her right. So the other right. Beautiful. Now, with as little assistance from her hands as possible, she's going to roll now to an arch position. I'm going to have her roll to her right again.
This way?
Yep. There we go. Beautiful. And now, one more time, roll again to Ryan. Excellent. And relax. Nicely done. So, if you have someone who's struggling with that log rolling position, oftentimes it's moving from a hollow to an arch position. They may need to put their hand to the ground to assist them. They may need to move from a perfectly straight leg position to a slightly bent position to assist that transition. That's fine. And the more they practice the movement, the more they're going to become comfortable with it. But really what we're doing now is try to reinforce and teach in a ground-based context the movement patterns of moving from globally flexed to globally extended positions, which we're then going to translate later to the bar and rings.
So now we're going to cover a candlestick roll, which also starts and emulates. So we only have a sit up for starters, reaching up nice and high. She's going to already have that globally flexed position at her core. She's going to reach back, and you're going to try and make sure that you roll back through vertebrae by vertebrae and keeping your feet up coming with you. So roll back, come up, shoulders through, press your hips through at the top, and then pull down and go. Good. Then try again. Now do it on momentum. Yeah, good. So she extends up through the hips, rolls through. Make sure she's gonna reach back with her arms a little bit more. There we go. There we go. So reach back a little bit further. There. Now she's gonna try that same thing, coming back a little bit further onto the shoulders, really reaching through that hollow position, and then she's gonna bend her knees and try and get to her deck squat, which she can do apparently. So that's great. So if you have a hard time standing all the way up instantly, you can just come to sit back down. Show them if they're not making it, what's still acceptable is your feet are coming to the floor, and then you're just rolling back into a new one, trying to get back to that globally flexed position with long legs again. So go back. She's not strong enough, but she got her feet there. And then she's gonna come back through, and she's gonna work on getting a little higher, and then roll into the next one, a little higher. Hey, she did it. Now, she'll add that with a pistol variation. Same thing, she's arching up. She's gonna totally crush this one. We're all gonna be really impressed. Check it out, guys. Okay, so same thing, nothing's changing from that core positioning or the shoulder positioning, and she did it. Yay, pistol. Okay, that would be the candlestick roll and candlestick roll up variations to deck squat and to pistol squat. All right, so now we're going to introduce the bar work portion of the muscle up progression. We'll have Krissy jump up. Right now she's in what would be considered a dead hang or a passive shoulder position. We're going to go over a lat activation where she pulls up and back by retracting spine, but she wants to be in a hollow position actually as she does that, pulling up through the shoulder and then relax again. So see, relaxed and then up hollow. relax, look up. Relax, let hollow, that nice activation drill comes on down. That's fine, good job. Jump back up. So thumbs wrapped around the bar. She's in that passive shoulder position, right? Now she's gonna activate her lats, pulling up into a nice hollow, and then relax again. So this is the difference. You wanna be in an active lat when we're moving through the next position, so activate your lats. Now she's gonna be in that hollow. She's moving to a low amplitude swing of the arch position, hollow position, arch position, hollow position. So this is a nice low amplitude swing controlled from the core. Come on down. That's the same thing we were doing on the floor. We're taking exactly what we're doing as far as the arch hollow on the floor or the log rolls, and now implementing that with the bar in an activated lat position at the shoulder level. So now from there, once you feel like you've got that, you can move on to a higher amplitude swing. So now that same lat activation control, she's gonna get up, she's gonna start progressively building from that low amplitude to a very much deeper arch and a much larger hollow, bigger swings. Okay, so she jumps up, wraps her thumb around the bar, activates her lats, starts pulling, progressively getting bigger and bigger, really getting that nice deep arch. Her legs stay tight, her toes stay pointed, and it all comes from the core the whole time. Good job, come on down. Boom.
Building on the low to high amplitude swings on the bar, which are really just alternating between globally flexed and globally extended positions. And working those in a dynamic context is going to help improve and reinforce muscular endurance, which is going to lend itself to being able to handle higher reps and longer sets of chin over, chest to bar pull-ups, of ring and bar muscle-ups. But we also need to work to continue to develop these skills, our postural stamina. So working these in a strict or isometric way is going to help us improve that. So what I'm going to have Krissy do is I'm going to have her now jump immediately into a hollow position on the bar and hold that hollow position as she swings back and forth. So jump immediately to hollow. So go ahead and come back down. So in order to generate that swing, we have to jump slightly away from the bar, so that as I jump, I'm in a hollow position.
And you want, it's okay to be swinging.
Yeah, so we want to see that swing.
He wants to be swinging. I jumped up there and just held still.
Okay.
So as I jump to hollow, and that's 150 burpees because your thumb isn't wrapped around the bar.
I'm not doing 150 burpees. Suck my dick.
So just jump to hollow, jump in a hollow position. There we go. Good. And come down. Excellent. So, next, same as we did, jump into a hollow position. I'm now going to have Krissy jump, and immediately as she comes into contact with the bar, move into an arch position, and again, maintain that arch position, allow that translational swinging to take her forward and back.
But stay in the arch?
Stay in the arch.
Start in the hollow? Or stay
Slightly. In a slightly hollow position, and then arch. Good. Beautiful. Excellent. And relax.
Kill it.
Very good. So we have a jump to hollow, jump to arch, and from there, combine these two drills, we start to see kind of the early stages of developing a tap swing. That's a more gymnastics-based drill, but a better understanding of the mechanics of the tap swing is definitely going to benefit you moving forward in getting your first bar or ring muscle up, or continue to improve on your bar and ring muscle ups. So with that jump to hollow arch, or again, the initial stages of that tap swing, we're gonna look for Krissy again, establish a really good, strong, hollow position. Allow that upswing to carry her to the top of her front swing, and then immediately pull herself into an arch position, which she'll then maintain on the backswing. So I'll demonstrate, I'll have Krissy follow. I'm again jump to hollow, allow that to carry me forward, and then pull myself into an arch position. Very nice. Very nice. And relax. Good. Try it again. I want you to try and hold that hollow position just a little bit longer. Arch. There you go. And relax. Beautiful. So, jump to hollow, jump to arch, then jump to hollow arch.
2 rings to rule them all.
2 rings to rule them all.
rings
And in the darkness bind them. No, anyways. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna take that same progression that we had on the bar. We're going from a active lat positioning into a low amplitude swing and a high amplitude swing. But now there's the action on the rings that you have to contend with as opposed to the stationary and fixed position of the bar. You have to enact that force driving away into your arch. You're reaching forward and then you're pulling back, creating that tension with the rings as you pull into the hollow. So what we're gonna do first, we're gonna jump up, activate the lat. I'm gonna start, so activate lats, come up into a hollow. Hollow, that's arch. There you go, good. And then now just nice and small, push, pull. So she's pushing into the rings, pulling back, maintaining that nice core positioning, active lat, nice and small, and then come down. Cool. The next one, she's gonna try and jump right into those low swings and progressively build in amplitude as she goes. So think about 8 swings, start small, building up, really try and make that action apparent on the rings. As you reach forward, reach, pull, reach. So push out. There we go. Good. She notice she's keeping her core nice and tight. She's pushing that action through the rings in both directions, getting larger and larger as she goes. And come on down. Perfect. Okay. Now this time we're going to talk a little bit more about that action she has with the hands. As she's progressively working and building up, she's pushing through on the arch, and then on the hollow, she's pulling back almost in a Y fashion to create that angle and tension, maintaining long straps as she moves forward. And back.
Pushing
And
through.
then Y back.
That's right. I remember
Push
Nick teaching me that.
through, Y back.
Our arch position, push the hands forward, and our hollow,
Pull the hands back.
For the past month and a half, we've been refining and developing our understands of global flexion and extension patterns, challenging those first to the floor, then taking them to the bar, and then next to the rings. So what we have is essentially 1/2 of a muscle up. So we also now need to work on the press out portion, okay? So how we're going to do that is by first drilling the top and bottom of the ring support positions. So I'm gonna have Krissy come over to the rings. We're going to start first by drilling the top of the support position. So, Krissy's going to step forward a little bit more. She's either going to press or jump to the top of the rings and hold that position. She's going to uncross her feet and show me a nice hollow position. And relax. Good. Is this tendency to internally rotate, where the hands turn back behind them. Ideally, what we'd like to see over time is the ability to achieve greater external rotation of that shoulder, to open up that chest and turn the palms forward, so that at the top of the ring support, we're in a support position that isn't just firmly situated in the shoulder, but is now distributed among the shoulder, triceps, upper back, and that load is distributed more now across an entire system rather than just a muscle. So from the top of the ring support, we're now going to work to the bottom of the ring support. Again, I'm going to have Krissy try and, you can just start at the bottom. So I'm going to have Krissy start at the bottom of the ring support. What we're looking for is to have that elbow slightly above the shoulder, the hands turned into the rib cage, and in that support position, again, I want Krissy really try and focus on a slightly hollow position. So lift your feet.
And hold here?
Mm-hmm.
Nope, not today.
That's okay.
My shoulders are toast.
That's fine. And this is something that we commonly see in a lot of our classes. So we can still challenge this position by having Krissy move to a slightly toe-pointed position, sinking her chest to keep it, and that's totally fine. She's still having to be active with her upper body, and just her lower body is providing just enough assistance to allow her to do that. And relax. As someone gets stronger in these support positions, we can challenge them by adding swinging as well. So once someone is comfortable in that top of the support position, we'll now start to introduce progressive amplitude swings from the top as well as the bottom. And then to challenge those even more, what we'll do is we'll also add in press out. So for those members that had showed some proficiency in the support positions and swinging these support positions, we'll have them add a press, making sure that they continue to emphasize and focus on making sure that they're keeping that good hollow position in the front, arch position in the back.
Start here, right?
Yes, so you're on hands to the ground. So I want you to arch, pull, and then turn over. Beautiful, just like
Right?
that, babe. Yeah. Matt, you want to cover this one?
I thought you just did.
No, well, you're going to talk about it. Talk about how the positions she's hitting are building on positions we already talked about.
All right, so for starters, we're gonna go over a low ring transition drill for the actual muscle up progression now. So now we're actually going to try and pull ourselves from under the rings over on top of the rings. Now she's gonna set her feet out just in front of what would be the bar level. She's gonna have her hips already extended. She's in that arch position. She's pulled up at the chest. She's gonna then row back the same fashion, kind of that Y, right? And then she's going to globally pull back over from a big hip thrust backwards, starting core position, and then she can dip out by even jumping if she needs. So then she can hop, dip out, come down. That would be one. So now a little bit smoother as she goes through. I'll let her do one kind of on her own. Hit, extend, row, up over, jump, dip out. So that'd be one progression, or the first progression from a low ring transition.
So if you're ready to move past the lower ring transition, we can more closely simulate the demands of a ring muscle up by having Krissy stand on top of a box. So I'm gonna have Krissy first kind of put her hands over her head, just show her hands up, put her hands over her head. And what we're looking for are those rings to come to roughly elbow height. These are set up perfectly for her. Okay? Go ahead and take your grip on the rings. Just kind of come into a partial squat for me, both feet flat on the box. So arms are fully extended. There we go. So I'm gonna have Krissy first roll forward, come to her toes. And what we're seeing is that she's in a good arch position, as she would be if she weren't on the box. Then from here, she's gonna move back to that hollow position, come to her heels. That's from her heels that she's now going to jump, pull, and attempt to pull herself over the top of the rings. Jumping muscle up.
I don't know how.
Roll forward to your toes.
Push through all the way.
Push through all the way. Roll back to your heels, jump, pull.
I don't know how.
Beautiful, right? And so it's not uncommon that we'll see when someone gets their first jumping muscle up that we'll see those rings with a lot of translational swinging. When we see that, our cue is just going to be for Matt to be a little bit more active and his shoulders a little more active in that pull. Okay? Let's see it again, Matt. Again, he rolls forward to that arch position. Much better. And again, Matt did a really good job of making sure that he's landing in that hollow position. Our concern not so much is just getting our first muscle up, but continuing to refine those positions. Okay? I'm gonna have Matt do one more. I'm gonna have him, as best he can, pause in that bottom of the ring support position before pressing out to the top. Rolls forward, back, beautiful, and then press. Nicely done. Now, this very same drill can also be adapted for a bar muscle up. You'll need to mess around with different heights of boxes or stacked plates or whatever you can manage to find. Fortunately, Matt is tall enough that with one of our spiel bars here, Matt is already set an appropriate height. Generally, we're looking for roughly mid-forearm. The lower the bar is on your arm, the more you're gonna be able to assist with the legs. So as you get better at these jumping muscle up variations, you'll be able to take the bar from mid-forearm or elbow height closer to the wrist. And once you're able to do jumping muscle ups from wrist height and above, at that point, we're close. We're right there with getting an unassisted muscle up. Okay? So, same thing with the jumping bar muscle up. That's going to go up to an extended position, roll forward, back, jump, and pull. And again, same as the rings, we're looking for Matt to land in a slightly hollow position. Excellent. Can I see one more? Notice again that as Matt pulls, notice the separation between his chest and the bar. We have to have some distance that we need to overcome. And again, his elbows remain high, pulling up and out, not down and in. Beautiful. Matt, can you show us for comparison's sake what happens if someone, as they pull, are pulling their elbows down and in?
This is gonna hurt.
They kind of get blocked off there. Okay, it's not uncommon that we see that. We also commonly see with bar muscle ups, immature bar muscle ups, the tendency to kind of chicken wing. Oh, there we go.
That's a good one.
Oftentimes, that was very good.
Yeah, I used to do it.
Oftentimes that can be fixed just by reminding that person to try and keep their head still. They may be unconscious of their tendency to lean to a particular side, which is often their dominant side, on that upswing. So just by reminding them to keep their head still and their focal point consistent, we can tend to kind of mitigate the extent of or the tendency for there to be any type of chicken wing. Essentially what we've gone over is our 8-week progression that we went through in our classes, starting again from the ground to first teaching and familiarizing our clients with the globally flexed and arch positions, taking them first to the bar, then to the rings, and then showing them how they can appropriately scale muscle ups. It's our personal belief and philosophy that we don't avoid programming traditionally more difficult movements like muscle ups. What we want is for our members and our clients to have an adequate base of understanding so that they can appropriately scale and modify the movements as necessary and continue to progress incrementally toward a longer term goal of getting bar and ring muscle ups. And we saw a lot of success with the program, even though we only had a handful of people who successfully got their first muscle ups, whereas they had none universally across the board. And I think Matt can attest to this as well. He coaches the morning classes. We saw vast improvements in terms of people's swings. Swings improved, and we've seen people who didn't have pull-ups start to link together consecutive pull-ups. Who didn't have chest to bar start to get chest to bar. So follow the progressions. Do not be afraid to scale back or remediate the movement as necessary. But please check back in at our YouTube channel. Feel free to leave us some feedback. And keep on subscribing to the Black Book
And Facebook.
and the Facebook group.
And our Black Iron podcast and everything that Black Iron is, you should be a part of. So I'm just saying.
Yes. And thank you to our lovely
Lovely demo.
Well, now I gotta try this again.
Now
Now
you're gonna try it again?
No, you're not gonna film it.